Hey dude, so before we get started, let me share with you who this video is for and who it's not, so you don't waste your time. If it's not for you, you can skip it and go watch Netflix. And if it's for you, then you know exactly which part to pay attention to according to the stage you're at. So if you're a beginner coach who's just getting started, skip this video. It's way too advanced. You don't need this. Now, if you're an experienced coach who's been working with clients, but the type of clients you're working with right now are not the right people, are not at the level that you want them to be at. You know deep in your heart, you can attract and work with higher caliber type of clients. You want them, they're just not coming to you, and it's scary to level up. I guarantee you, I've been there. So if that's you, and you feel the drag of a business that looks successful on paper, but internally you feel like it has to be like 2 or 3 levels higher, at least with the type of people they're working with, the North Star method is the thing that fixes everything for us. What is it? Well, if you've been a coach for, I don't know, more than a day, you probably have seen a model like this, where there's a who in your niche. It's one specific avatar that you work with, and the more detailed and specific it is, the better. And then there is a what. It's like, what do you help them do? Like, what kind of problems do you solve for these people? And the what goes on the right-hand side, and your niche is a combination of who you work with and what problems you solve for them. We used to use this model. It works. It's a great one. Does have 3 major problems, unfortunately, that hold you back and kind of naturally forces you to get low quality clients. I'm going to walk you through the 3 problems and the one kind of fix upgrade that we had to make to it, that just naturally overnight start attracting higher quality leads for us. By the way, when I say overnight, it didn't happen overnight. It took a few months, but it was way faster than I thought it would have been. Let's just say that, because changing niches, upgrading niches, not easy. This one is actually easier than we think. So the 3 major problems you would experience when you run a model where your niche is broken down into the who and the problems that you solve for them. By the way, the problems get worse as it goes up. So the first problem is like the smallest one, and the third problem is the thing that's really killing us coaches. So the first problem is it makes it really hard to focus. Here's the thing. Ideal avatar, the thing that you help them with, they probably don't just have one tiny problem. They probably have a series of problems, right? And if you're good at what you do, which if you're an experienced coach, you're probably ridiculously good at what you do, there are most likely multiple problems that you're going to be solving for them. So there's a super specific avatar with multiple problems that you solve for them. Fantastic. That's how it should be if you're really experienced and you're really good at what you do. The problem with this is that having too many problems that you solve, it makes it really hard to get your marketing and your messaging focused, because you can talk about so many different things. And if you can't get focused, or it's really hard to get focused, that leads to lack of clarity. And if you don't have full clarity, it's hard to transfer that clarity to a client, right? Or a prospect, or in your messaging. So that's the first problem. Is it the biggest one? No. The next 2 are the bigger ones that we gotta watch out for. The second problem that you're gonna experience with this is that when you sit in front of the prospect and say, hey, Mr. Very Specific Who, these are the problem 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things that I can help you with, or 10 areas that we're gonna dive in and help in your business, in your personal life, you like whatever it is that you're helping do. It comes across as too good to be true. See it this way. Let's say, for whatever reason, God forbid, you gotta get a brain surgery. So you sit in front of a surgeon. It's a sensitive thing, so you want to make sure they're qualified and they're the right person for you. So you ask them about their qualification, and the surgeon kind of sits up confidently and it starts listing out their qualifications. Like, hey, I'm the world's most famous brain surgeon. I'm ridiculously good at what I do. I'm also incredibly good at heart surgeon. In fact, not only that, on the side, I'm a leading expert for Chinese medicine. And by the way, during surgery, don't worry if your spine needs realignment, I can adjust you as well, because I'm a chiropractor. Oh, I forgot to say, if you ever have knee issues, come to me. Within a matter of months, I can fix you, because I'm also a physiotherapist. Now, if you're sitting there and your health expert, the brain surgeon, is world class at all of these different things, would you believe him if he said that? Probably not. Me too. Here's the thing. He might be the Tony Starks of surgeries and health. He might genuinely be really good at all of those things. World-leading expert in all of them. But in a world where perception is reality, it's not about what he can do, it's about what we believe he can do. So when you start with, well, I can help you with this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem, the more you have, the less of an expert you come across and more of a generalist you come across. You come across as, okay, you might be okay-ish, average on all of them, but nobody wants to hire an average coach. We want the best we could possibly get. So that's the second problem. It's too good to be true. And if you can solve too many problems, which I know in your heart, you believe you can, and I believe you. I know you can, but the market doesn't believe you. That's the problem. But that's only the second problem. The third and the biggest problem that us coaches face when we run with this model is that this model naturally attracts low quality leads, clients, and prospects. We call them the floor level, bottom of the barrel type of clients. Here's what I mean. Oftentimes, you get these guys, the bottom of the barrel type of clients, because you're talking at them directly. If you're always focused on all the problems that they're facing right now, who do you think you're going to attract? The people with the problems. If I run an ad right now that said, hey, if you tried everything and nothing has ever worked for you, and you tried multiple coaching programs and none of that was ever worked for you, and you consistently post online and nobody pays attention, nobody becomes a lead, and the ones that jump on a call never become a client, come to me, I'll help you. What kind of a prospect do you think I'm going to get? Well, naturally, when you're always focused on the problems, that's who you're going to attract. People with a ton of problems that probably don't have the money to pay you, that are probably not committed anymore because they're burnt out, they've tried everything, they're tired, they've kind of given up before they come to you. It's the bottom of the barrel, lowest quality type of prospect you could possibly get. This model is past focused. It's focused on what's been happening so far, what are the problems, and you try to attract people through the problems they're experiencing. I've been there. It's not nice. Now, here's the fix that we implemented that completely changed the game for us in terms of attracting higher quality prospects. We did this thing called the North Star method. And the way it works is, it's actually the opposite of the traditional niching model. It's future focused. And by future focused, I really mean it's focused on where you take them. It's no longer focused on the problems they've had or the experiences they've had in the past. It's focused on where you're going to take them. So all of this is actually spinning around one North Star promise, a very detailed promise that you can give to anybody that says, hey, if you want this thing, I can help you get there. Let's have a chat type of thing. So it's no longer about what kind of problems you're experiencing right now. It's about the kind of results you want to have soon. Now, the promise has to be very specific. It has to be so specific that if they close their eyes, they can see it, they can feel it, and they can imagine themselves having it. So there needs to be enough details in the promise so that when they close their eyes, they can see it happening in their life. They can feel and see that they have it. Okay, so let me give you some examples. I'll give you two. It's different enough that will kind of cover everybody. Hopefully it will help you out. Let's start with like a business coach. Let's start with my business. Our North Star promise to our clients is 3K a day on a recurring basis in profit. So 3K recurring in profit, that's $1 million a year, million and 1.1 million in profit without sales calls, with only 300 minutes per day. Okay, so it's 3K a day on a recurring basis in profit left in your pocket, 300 minutes a day without any sales calls. So if you close your eyes, you can imagine that. Now, let me give you an alternate version of this that we had before, which was 1 client per day. Now, if you close your eyes, you can imagine, okay, getting a client a day. And now say without sales calls. Now you can imagine getting a client a day without jumping on sales calls or having a sales team. That feels good. And now say with only 300 minutes a day. Now you can imagine even more, working maybe from 9 a.m. till 12 or 1 p.m. and then you're good. You move on to the rest of your life. Like you can, there's enough details in there that you can imagine it. Now, if I say, I'm going to help you get more clients, I'm going to help you double your profit, not as detailed, not as juicy, it doesn't feel as good. So it has to be extremely detailed, promise the outcome they're going to get by working with you. Another example of this, let's go into fitness. The only reason I go there is because I'm working on getting a perfect six-pack, not just a six-pack, but a perfect six-pack. So let's just tackle that. A perfect six-pack. And it's not just any six-pack, it's a perfect one. You can see everything. You can see every detail on every line, right? It's a different six-pack. A perfect six-pack without changing your diet or working out more. So a perfect six-pack without changing your diet or working out more. Super specific. It's not just lose weight, gain muscle, get a six-pack. No, if I close my eyes, I can visually imagine it and not having to work more in the gym or changing my diet. Now, the one thing you want to be careful in here is not about over-promising or making the promise big. It's about making the promise detailed. Oftentimes, smaller promises that are super detailed work so much better than big promises that are not believable. Why? Because small promises are believable. Perception is reality. If they see it and they don't believe you, even though you can deliver it, they wouldn't want it because they don't believe you, okay? So make it detailed. The goal is to make it detailed so that they can imagine it. The goal is not to make it over-promise and super big just to get it. The days of over-promising and making the promise bigger are well gone. That was in like 2018. We are in 2025. That's the North Star promise. One promise that you focus on. Now, here's the beautiful thing about this. Let's take a look at this. We'll tackle both of them so you have the examples and can apply this to your business as well. So let's take a look at the business coach thing. Well, there are, within any niche, there are different levels of prospect. For example, in coaches, well, it could be a beginner coach from 0 to 100K a year. Or it could be kind of somebody at the next level at 100K a year to $1 million, or somebody at $1 million to $3 million, or somebody from 3 to 10 million, right? It's same niche, different levels of clients, right? Well, here's the thing. When you're only focused on the problems these people have, you're only going to get the people with the problems that they have. So if you focus on specific problems, you only get the people with those specific problems, which typically are not the best quality clients. But when you focus on one North Star promise, it doesn't matter where they're at. You are going to get clients that are super beginner. You're also going to get clients that are more advanced. There are coaches who are making 1 to 3 million a year, but they're not doing 3K per day in profit. They're not doing $1 million in profit. Their profit levels are much lower, and they're probably doing it with a sales team and a sales calls, and it's stressful, and they're probably working a lot more than 300 minutes per day. So if that seems appealing to them, they would come to me, but also there might be a beginner coach that wants to achieve the same thing. It's no longer about where they are or where they've been. It's about where they want to go. It's about the pleasure they want to have, not the pain they want to run away from. Cool? Now let's take a look at the perfect kind of six-pack niche, like the fitness dude, right? Well, here's the thing. I trust you're an adult and you can handle a ton of complexity. You'll be just fine. Simple, but complex at the same time. Here's the thing. You can get people on different levels within the same niche, but when you have a North Star promise, you can also get clients from different niches unintentionally. Here's what I mean. The six-pack dude, maybe let's just make some extra boxes over here for the six-pack dude. Maybe somebody who's an athlete would come to this coach and say, hey, I like the six-pack, don't have it. I have the I'm an athlete, like I can perform like an athlete, but I don't look like an athlete. So I like to get the six-pack. Maybe he would get some single dads. These are different target markets, really. These are different who's, right? A single dad or a single mom or a young man, right? These are different people. These are different who's who want the exact same process that could use some help getting the goal. So when you have this going on, you have the luxury of choice because you can choose to either accept or not accept certain levels or certain niches. For example, the fitness coach can say, hey, I only work with single men, don't work with athletes, don't work with single moms, and don't work with young men. Okay, only accept these people. You'll have all of them come to you and you have a choice, but you only accept the ones that you want to. And you can influence, and this is the most important part, you can actually influence the ratio of the type of people you want to get. So let's go back to the business coach example. If I want to get a lot of beginners, then I can talk about the struggles and pain points of a beginner, and I would attract these people more to the North Star. But if I'm talking about the problems you would face at a higher level, I'm going to attract these kind of people. Let me give you an example. We're talking about niching. I can talk about, hey, here's how you find your niche. And who's that going to attract? A lot of super beginner coaches because they want to find out what the niche is, right? And it's going to repel all of these advanced coaches. Or I can talk about upgrading the niche you already have if you're already working with clients, but they're not at the level you want to be, which was the start of this video. Who is that going to attract? Pretty much people that are up here and not the beginners because they don't even know what the niche is to begin with. So it's the same topic, but the way I frame it and the way I talk about it is going to influence the ratio of the people I'm going to get. Now, are some beginner people are going to watch this video? Of course they are. They don't all listen, and that's okay. But I can influence the ratio of which bucket I get more of by talking about the problems that these people face and framing it in a way that they would think about. Let's talk about getting more clients. I can talk about getting more clients, getting more revenue, or getting more profit, right? If I talk about getting more clients, I'm going to attract beginner coaches because that's all they want. They just want clients. If I'm talking about keeping more profit, it's more up here. Once you're making the money, now you're thinking about keeping the money. It's all the same thing. It's just different way of talking about it, right? I can also attract different niches. I can get, let's go back to here. I can attract coaches. I can attract agency people. I can attract authors. And I can also attract affiliates, like affiliate marketers or even network marketers, right? It's all parallel. It's very similar stuff. Well, in our world, we get a lot of affiliates, a few authors, and we always say no to them. I don't work with them. I'm not the guy. There are better people out there that can help them. We also get a lot of coaches. That's what we focus on. Everything that we do is specifically designed for a coach. So we get a lot more of this and a tiny bit of the other ones. And when we get agencies, we accept them as well because agencies are typically coaching done for you. That's all it is, with paired with like free coaching on the side, because when you're an agency, you're delivering it by also doing the coaching as well for free when it's not expected. So we help with agencies as well. We get both of them. But my focus is coaches. That's where my marketing goes. That's where my messaging goes. That's where our systems are built, right? And authors and affiliates, even though we get them, we say no to them. So we get to choose. We're not pigeonholed by the niche we are in. We get a range of people at different levels and different niches, all wanting the same North Star promise. And we get to choose which level we want more of so we can influence it, and also which people we want and which people we don't want. It feels really good saying no to a client, even though they can pay you, simply because they're just not the right fit. You can't do that if you don't have enough people come to you that are a good fit. So please, let's get this right. The North Star method, that changes the game for you. So that's about upgrading a niche and using the North Star method to attract way higher caliber of clients. But here's the thing. Once you change a niche, even if you decide not to change a niche, probably getting clients is the #1 focus of yours if you're watching this video up to here. If that's the case, and you want to see the model I use to get to 3K per day on a recurring basis in profit without sales calls, then click on the video on the screen in here. They will be in the description as well. And I'll leave you with this. Upgrading your niche and upgrading the caliber of the people you work with doesn't take time. It takes courage.